Coming up next on Walk the Plank, I talk with series creator Eric Sprouse about the newest episode of Dead and Buried Treasures and the debut of a brand new character. We get you ready for Horror Realm Con in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. What is it? What can you expect? You'll find out tonight. I'll also take you to one of my favorite horror collectible stores, Time Bomb Toys. Give you a look into what they sell, where could you find them, and how you can order from them. If that's not enough, we're going to give you a sneak peek at tonight's movie and answer your Facebook questions. All of that coming up next.
Yeah!
Welcome to Walk the Plank, the Dead and Buried Treasures pre-show. I'm your host, Rich Kanji, and joining me, as always, the series creator, producer, actor, star, the Heinz 57 of horror hosts, Mr. Eric Sprouse.
Thank you, Rich. Nice to see you again. And let me be the first to say Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. And, you know, speaking of holidays and holidays that have passed, we want to not only wish you a happy Thanksgiving, but also thank you for turning out in groves to the wonderful Halloween parade that you were in.
Oh, yeah, we had so much fun with that. There's nothing quite like firing Tootsie Rolls at 5-year-olds in the street.
That's true. Yeah.
That's horrible. But I mean, that's exactly what it was. You know, you're coming around like, candy, you know, and there's a lot of fun to that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was great. That was a great turnout.
Oh, yeah, it was great. I love doing the Halloween parade every year. And I'll love doing it next year. And that was a busy day for us because I had to go to 2 Halloween parades. I had to go to a drive-in. I had to sign autographs afterwards of all of that and drive all around. It was a lot of fun, but it was trying day, but it was a lot of fun.
Well, it's not over because now we're going into Thanksgiving, which we have returning to the show, the chef dynamic duo themselves, Cooking with Papa and Talia. So they'll be coming aboard the ship to delight you with their culinary Thanksgiving cuisine.
Right. Just so everybody knows, because I know I get a lot of this kind of mail, what our schedule is going to be like the rest of the year. We have tonight's show, with Rescue from Gilligan's Island. And then, of course, toward the end of November for actual Thanksgiving, we have, and then there were none,
right?
Where we Chef Papa and Talia on to do a little Thanksgiving Day cooking, and then we can flip flop it at Christmas time. We are going to have our Christmas show back that we always do, where we host Scrooge. But we're going to do another new Christmas show with another cooking episode with Chef Papa and Talia for a Christmas dinner of some type, Christmas. So it's really great to have them back on board. And we don't know what the movie's going to be then just yet. So we're kind of searching for that right now. And then, of course, in January, the big battle looms ahead. And we'll talk more about that later tonight.
Yes. So speaking of tonight's episode, you're going to debut a brand new character, which if anybody seen last year's Christmas special, the Jingle Bells tune that everyone did with a lot of the cast members and characters from the show, this character which was Jasper the caretaker. He was in that briefly. Now, this is his actual debut in the show, correct?
Yeah, Jasper is a character I've always wanted to have on the show for quite some time now, and we're finally getting around to it. Mm-hmm. He's played wonderfully, by the way, by a good friend of mine who was a former student of mine when I taught at California University. His name is Christopher Presley. And back then he was known as CK, and I'm the only one that calls him CK. In fact, I said to him over the phone, I said, hey, blah, 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 CK. And he goes, you're the only one that knows my name is CK now. I'm like, because times changed. I haven't talked to him in 15, 20 years. But he did a wonderful character for another show we worked on together called Fright Night Friday. And we couldn't use the character, obviously, but we wanted to create a new one with his old man talents, and he's so good at it. Everybody looks at him and when he's out of makeup and says, that guy is Jasper, or that guy is, at the time it was Chester on the old show. I'm like, yeah, this guy's really young and he covers it up well because he plays an old man so good, and he's got makeup and the cheesy handlebar mustache, and we're introducing him tonight on the show, and we're going to talk a little bit about special effects and how he's doing that with us, mm-hmm. because he lives in Kentucky.
That's right. That's right. So through the magic of green screen and email and all that, that's kind of how you have to have him on the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, you mentioned the special effects. Tonight's movie is Rescue from Gilligan's Island. Mm-hmm. And usually you tie in Dead and Buried Treasure some way, tied into the movie in some way or fashion. So how does Dead and Buried Treasures tie into Gilligan's Island? And because I want to know. Just Gilligan's Island's not a horror movie, but how does that tie into Dead and Buried Treasures? I'm waiting.
Just so all the viewers out there know, Rich is a big fan of Gilligan's Island. He really wanted this movie. Yeah,
right. I like Gilligan's Island. I just didn't know how that would tie into a horror show, but I'm sure you have a good explanation. I'll wait for that.
Well, to be quite honest, no, Gilligan's Island is not a horror film by any means. But I thought people would watch. I'm not sure a lot of people, if we did a poll to all the old school people to say, did you ever know that they made a Rescue from Gilligan's Island? Did you ever know that Gilligan got rescued ever? I don't think anybody would say, yeah, because it only aired once.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Right. And they actually, I'll tell you what, they made a trilogy of these movies. They made Rescue from Gilligan's Island, Castaways from Gilligan's Island, and then there was the third one. The Harlem Globetrotters on Gilligan's Island.
Oh, wow.
Where the first one they get rescued, and I can't tell you what happens, but then there's another rescue in the second one. And then the third and final film, they open up a resort on the island that people can come to because they become celebrities, big national heroes, having been rescued after, 20 years of being lost at sea. Mm-hmm. But the sad thing about it is Jim Backus, who played Thurston Howell, was getting up there in age. And when they were making the second one, it was obvious his dementia was setting in pretty strong. And they wrote a part for him, then they had to cut it down. Then he ended up having a bit part in the third one. And and they all knew when he left the set that day that it was the last time they were going to see him. And that was very sad. And, it's just a whole thing. We'll talk about that tonight during the movie when Dave Bones does some of his review. But the reason we did it is I just thought that people would watch. Not a lot of people know that they even survived and got off the island. And it's kind of horror related. We angle it that way because there's a gigantic tsunami that destroys the island. And the professor, of course, finds out through his coconuts and hemp that he made into a barometer or whatever he does, and they have to build a boat and they get off the island as it's destroyed. And that's the horror angle, with the tsunami. So I thought it'd be kind of fun, a fun film, a light film. something lighter after Halloween, when we did Night of the Living Dead and all the zombies. So it's a little fun. It's just different and fun this time. So we thought we'd roll it and see what happens.
For 1/4 of a century, they have thrilled us with their adventures, amazed us with their discoveries, and inspired us with their courage. Their ship has journeyed beyond imagination. Her name has become legend. Her crew, the finest ever assembled. We have traveled beside them from one corner of the galaxy to the other. They have been our guides, our protectors, and our friends. Now you are invited to join them for one last adventure. For at the end of history lies the undiscovered country.
So, speaking of tsunamis, how are you going to tie that into Dead and Buried Treasures? I mean, you're going to have a tsunami on the show too?
Yes. I like to tie in elements of the movie we're hosting to what we're doing on the show sometimes. And I've created a tsunami that's threatening the island of Dead and Buried Treasures. And while Drake is on the island, the tsunami threatens everybody. The boat, it's a 90-foot tsunami coming in that's going to destroy the island, obviously. And he's stuck on the island with this new character, Jasper, and has to try to save him, the island, and get the swashbucklers haunt out of there. So it's kind of not really an action-packed episode, but it's a suspenseful episode in those terms. Special effects are big on that show. In the last episode when we destroyed Walter Time and his ship, there's a lot of stuff we haven't even talked about yet. That was some special effects I had to make there as well. So there's a lot of stuff happening. Just even Jasper, the new character on the show, he's not even in the Pittsburgh area where you and I are. He's in Kentucky. So we got the idea when COVID first happened that we can still stay in production when Hollywood shut down. We kept on going. That's how we do it now with Zoom. Thank God for Zoom, right? Jasper shoots all of his stuff where he lives in his studio, uploads it to YouTube. I download it on my end and I edit it into the show, just like we were on the same set. And we do a couple other effect shots in this episode where I'm on the screen at the same time as he is, just to give it the illusion of us being together on the show. So not everything is always bombs and explosions. Special effects are subtle. Mm-hmm. And somebody says, "Oh, that's a great show tonight." That's enough. That's all I need to hear, because some of these effects are pretty special in the terms of just having us on camera simultaneously.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Wow, that's incredible. And you've had to do that on more than one occasion. So I mean, I got to tell you, you're getting pretty darn good at it.
I'm getting experience, that's for sure. I've never even Mirabella, the mermaid. I've never even talked to her on the phone, and that's about all. We've always become friends over the internet.
Mm-hmm. That's incredible. So before we get into these questions, because we do have some Facebook questions you're going to have to answer. That's right. Get warmed up. I want to tell everyone about a nice little place that I went to. It's called Time Bomb Toys, and they are located on Camp Horn Road in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's a nice little shop that caters to horror fans. Yeah. And not only do they have horror masks, rubber masks and stuff like that, but they also have figures from Trick or Treat Studios, Super 7, Funko, Mezco, NECA. They have lunch boxes, props, Halloween accessories, different. They actually had some Halloween cardboard cutouts that you can hang on the wall, and they look very old school, like the ones you'd see from the late 70s, early 80s, and stuff like that. But it's a great place. If you get a chance, you should check them out on Facebook. or even visit them if you're in the Pittsburgh area. But yeah, I spent a little bit too much money there. But I'm definitely I'm going back. If anything, that's going to be my Christmas shopping. So
I've seen your collection too.
yeah,
And, hopefully, someday they'll carry a lot of our stuff from Phoenix Comics and Toys. That'll be kind of a treat for us.
that's right. So yeah, hopefully Rob Fleck and Phoenix Comics and Toys, they'll be able to work something out, because you might just see that there. You might be able to get a Calico Drake statue.
Oh yeah,
in time for Christmas.
Why, Rich? Funny you should ask. We made these last year, and these are collector's items now. But I'm told that Rob wants to re-release these for Christmas this year. Mm-hmm. So that's the good news. And the good news is we'll run the spot tonight on the show. I've had a lot of requests for the Santa Drake ones, and they're really nice because they come with toys and a candy cane instead of a sword. And of course, the decoder is still there with the balloon inside. I don't know if you can see that. That might be a little too bright in the light. But he's going to re-release these take them out of the vault for 1 month only for our fan club. Not only the fan club members, but fan club members get 20% off.
That's right.
But these are really nice to have. And you can, and as you can see with the decoder, I send secret messages throughout the internet on the airwaves, and you can try to decode it and win prizes as well. So it's a lot of fun. And Rob is going to release these. I think this month. I think we'll probably run a spot during this episode. Mm-hmm. But he wants to sell them for Christmas, so you'll probably see him advertised this month and during Christmas. And they'll be unavailable after December 31st. So he wanted me to plug that for you. So there you go.
There you go. You better get on that. Makes a great Christmas present.
Right.
So now's the time to put you on the spot, because I have some Facebook questions here. That's right. Get warmed up.
Hold on. All right. I'm all ready with the Pirate Handbook.
All right. It's an open book question, so it's
an open book quiz. I like it.
So let's head to first one is coming from Sabrina Higginbottom from Mars, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
All right. Your show has such amazing plot twists. I'm loving the villains, particularly the end. So my question is twofold. First, did you really kill off Walter Time in the end of the last episode? And two, is there going to be a big battle of some kind? I want to know too.
That's a real controversial ending. I can't tell you how much feedback I've gotten on me killing off Walter Time. Mm-hmm. I think because people didn't expect it and because nobody saw it happening. But I only did it because I wanted our new villain. I call him the faceless one right now. I guess I'm the only one that knows his name. No one knows who he is, why he's pissed off at Drake. I mean, no one knows his past, anything. And I needed a moment for him to say, I ain't screwing around here. So I had him kill off Walter Time. And, but it's just like Leonard Nimoy said way back in Star Trek 2, no one ever really dies in science fiction. It looks pretty grim for Walter, not kidding, but who knows? I mean, it's science fiction, but I needed a moment where I could say this villain is really serious. He's a real general threat. And because we do so much comedy and campy stuff on the show, I wanted somebody to be my Joker. Mm-hmm. And I think that guy's going to be it. Oh, very good. What was the part 2 to that question?
Will there be some kind of big battle? We're going to see a big battle.
This is all, and you'll see tonight in our cliffhanger tonight, if you make it till whatever time this is over, before our after show podcast. It's about to happen. It's getting real close.
Good. All right. The next one is coming from Michelle Corson from Fairchance, PA. Okay. I love the episode.
Great.
Yeah. I love the episode with the identity theft. Did you really meet all those famous people? Have you worked in TV before?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I did. Everybody that I met in the last episode, on the identity theft episode where we hosted the Jack the Ripper, a Man in the Attic, I met all of them. conventions, through working with them at some point. And yes, I have worked in the movies and TV all my life. In another life, my alter ego is I'm a teacher of film and television. I'm a communications professor. I'm actually Dr. Sprouse, and you never guess it because of how ridiculous I am. But yeah, I met a lot of people in my travels. I actually worked on Night of the Living Dead, 3 Living Dead movies. The remake in 1990 was one of my first. I was a wee Drake back then. And then I worked on Dawn of the Dead in 2004. And my proudest was Diary of the Dead. I really liked Diary of the Dead, and no one ever talks about it, but I thought it was one of the scarier ones in the franchise. Mm-hmm. Land of the Dead, I did not like. I didn't work on it, so I felt like I dodged a bullet. You know, with the zombie that rides the horse, the girl? Yeah. I'm not a fan of that. But Diary of the Dead, I thought was very, very scary. And I was proud to say I got to work on that. So I've worked on a lot of those kind of movies. You know, other ones that were shot in Pittsburgh too: Striking Distance, Silence of the Lambs, Inspector Gadget. But the Living Dead movies are the ones that seem to stick with the fans. So yes, I have worked on a lot of movies and TV before. Yep.
Very good. This one is from Stephen Schroeder, Wilmington, Ohio. He asks, I called in last week and talked to you during the after show. I really like the Pirate's Booty. Why don't you do more podcasts?
You know, the Pirate's Booty is meant to be a podcast, and we do it as an after show for TV, but we also take it and use it on iTunes, Pocket Casters, Anchor, anywhere that podcasts are heard. And we get a lot of good feedback to those podcasts as well. Actually, we've been, Rich and I have been talking about starting yet another show that we don't want to reveal too much because we're still kind of planning it at the same time. So we want to do something where we're live, like almost like a Facebook Live, but a podcast kind of thing, maybe on a Saturday night at midnight or a Friday night at midnight, to introduce the show on Facebook or YouTube Live or something like that. So we are giving some planning to that, and that's not as far-fetched as you would think.
Right. Right.
Yep.
So stay tuned for more of that on that. It's coming.
Yeah, good. I'm actually thinking more about that, learning a lot about technology and that kind of stuff. So that'll probably happen.
So let's get to we got one more question here. This one's from Scott Wheaton in Ontario, Canada.
Oh, he must have seen us on Facebook or
YouTube
or something. Yep.
We are absolutely what's that?
Or the Monster Channel or the Vortex.
Right. We are absolutely dying to know who the double agent is on the show. Me too. I bet my brother $5 that it's Reggie. That's good. Mostly because I can't stand him. But my brother, on the other hand, loves him. Will he be back anytime soon? And is it difficult playing a dual role like that?
It certainly is. But I don't have to brag about that. It is. It's a lot. It's a challenge, and it's difficult because you have to also, on this side of the screen, I'm playing Reggie over here, and over here, I'm like, I can't stand this loser, and it's like you have to time it right, and you have to bend some of the rules. So doing a dual role like that is fun, and it's challenging. I like shows with those kind of challenges. I like to challenge myself, and it also helps me keep up on, like we said earlier, technology, and because it's ever changing. Paradigms are always changing. Every 6 months, you go out and you buy a TV off the shelf. It's already 6 months old, and that means it's 6 months behind in technology as it is. So it's like, so yeah, I have a lot of fun playing dual roles, and you bet your brother $5 it's Reggie. I'm not going to tell you who the double agent is, but there's some mention. I've given clues. I will say that if you go back and play anything with the villains, and you listen carefully, there are clues in there. So it may not come as a complete surprise, but they are in the show because I don't make this stuff up. I plan this out methodically, and the clues are there if you can piece it together. But the fact that you bet Reggie was for $5 to your brother, that's great.
That is good. You can't think of horror movies without coming to mind here in Pittsburgh, Horror Realm Con.
It's the home of zombies.
It is. And it's also the Horror Realm, the home of Horror Realm Con, which is coming up November 19th through the 21st. And that's going to be held in Pittsburgh at the Crown Plaza Suites. It's on Fort Couch Road.
Exactly.
And yes, and they have all kind of guests, horror-related guest actors. Danielle Harris. Everybody knows who Danielle Harris is. Very attractive, very talented woman.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And another talented woman, Felissa Rose. You might know her from Sleepaway Camp and a slew of other horror movies.
Yeah, absolutely. Good movie.
And then one of my personal favorites who I've met before, Kane Hodder. Kane Hodder is Jason Voorhees. I know there's been a lot of men that have played him. Kane Hodder is the Jason Voorhees.
He is the Jason. That's right. Yep.
That's right. And also he was in the multiple movies of Hatchet. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Victor Crowley. That's a great series. And
oh wait, no, I have seen that. I have seen that. That is a good show.
And Danielle Harris was in those too.
Mm-hmm.
She was in those. So you have a whole group of guests. There's tons of others. So if you want to see who's involved, definitely check out Horror Realm on Facebook. You can check them out at horrorrealm.com and see the guest list coming up. You might want to try to make it to this one. But what I'm going to do, because I went to the one 2 years ago, last year they didn't have one because of COVID, but I was at that one. I'll be at this one also. Playing us out, I'm going to share some footage that I gathered from the last Horror Realm Con. So that will be. It is time to go. We have to go. You got to get in costume and get moving here, Captain Calico.
And I'm lacking. Man, I'm ready to deal with questions and have some fun. It's like the party's over. I'm like, what? Well, you know what? The party's just beginning, man.
It is. This is just a pre-show. This is just the tip of the iceberg. This is to get your whistle wet and get ready.
It'll be fun tonight too. Oh, it's a funny one tonight. Really nicely. Oh, and I want one last thing before we go. The gentleman who plays Jasper, Christopher Presley, he'll be on Walk the Plank next time.
That's right. We'll do an interview with him. I'll get to pick his brain a little bit, and you'll get to know him a little bit better.
Yep.
So, till next time, make sure you stay tuned for Dead and Buried Treasures and the post-show Pirates Booty, because I mean this is just the beginning. We got a whole night planned. You're not going to bed anytime soon. So
no, and you know why else? Because it's a pirate's life for me, Rich. It really is.
Thank you. So stay tuned for Dead and Buried Treasures and the rescue from Gilligan's Island.
It's a scary one, folks.
It is.
On a dead man's chest, yo ho ho, and a bottle of rum. Drink and the devil be done for the rest. Yo ho ho, and a bottle of rum. The mate was fixed by the possum's spike, possum's brain with a marlin spike, and a cookie's throat was marred belike, had been gripped by fingers then, and they lay oh good dead man like a breakout day in a boozing den. Yo ho ho, and a bottle of rum. 50 men off a stiff and start. Yo ho ho, and a bottle of rum. 10 of the crew with the murder mark. Yo ho ho, and a bottle